Hello, everyone. Today's article is titled, Texas Redraws the Lines. It examines Texas's controversial mid-decade redistricting, designed to create 5 Republican-leaning districts. This move has sparked fierce debate over fairness, minority rights, and the integrity of democracy. Let's pause for a moment before we move into the article. Before we examine what happened, it helps to consider a larger theme that gives us context. This will guide how we understand the story that follows. Building on this broader perspective, let's focus on the theme of democracy and representation. The idea of democracy rests on equal participation, yet electoral boundaries often determine whose voice is amplified and whose is diminished. When district lines are drawn strategically, politics becomes less about the will of the people and more about the will of parties. Redistricting shows us that the struggle for fair representation is never finished. It must be defended constantly. This case reminds us that democracy is fragile and vigilance is essential to keep it intact. Do you think minority communities should be protected in the way political districts are drawn? Redistricting is a powerful yet controversial tool because it decides not just maps, but voices. When boundaries are drawn fairly, they can ensure communities elect leaders who represent their needs. But when manipulated, redistricting, often called gerrymandering, dilutes votes and silences minority populations. In Texas, critics argue that creating 5 Republican-leaning districts entrenches partisan advantage at the expense of fairness. Such practices may satisfy short-term political goals, but they erode trust in democracy over time. Legal debates highlight another problem. The interpretation of constitutional principles can shift depending on political winds. If rules change whenever power is at stake, stability disappears. The deeper lesson is that democracy requires more than elections. It requires transparent processes and safeguards for minority voices. Without these protections, representation risks becoming a performance rather than a principle. Now, to understand this article better, we need to familiarize ourselves with key vocabulary. We'll go over 3 important expressions, learn their meanings, and see them in action with example sentences. Let's start with dilute. It means to make something weaker or less effective, often by mixing or spreading it out. In the article, critics argued that the redistricting plan would dilute the voting power of minority communities. Here is an example. Adding too much water will dilute the juice's flavor. Next, we have disenfranchise. It means to take away someone's right to vote or participate in democracy. In the article, opponents claimed that the plan would disenfranchise minority voters. Here is an example. Strict residency requirements can disenfranchise migrant workers. Finally, let's look at coalition. It refers to a group of people, parties, or organizations that join together for a common goal. In politics, coalitions often form to pass laws or challenge ruling parties. Here is an example. Several small parties formed a coalition to defeat the ruling government. Now that we've explored the main themes and vocabulary, let's reinforce our understanding with a summary dictation exercise. Listen carefully and fill in the blanks. Texas is conducting a controversial mid-decade redistricting, adding 5 Republican-leaning districts to secure party dominance in the House of Representatives. Critics argue the move disenfranchises minority voters and undermines democratic fairness. Legal experts also question the timing of constitutional interpretations favoring the plan. The case underscores how political power structures remain fragile, raising concerns about equitable representation both in the U.S. and globally. Let's check the answers and review what each word means. The first answer is redistricting. It means redrawing electoral boundaries. The second answer is undermine. It means to weaken or gradually destroy the strength or effectiveness of something. The third answer is constitutional. It refers to something allowed or supported by the Constitution. The fourth answer is fragile. It means easily broken or weakened. The fifth answer is equitable. It means fair, impartial, and equal for everyone. Well done, everyone! We've explored the politics of redistricting, its impact on minority communities, and the vocabulary that captures these issues. This case reminds us that democracy is only as strong as the fairness of its systems. So here's a question to reflect on. What can governments or citizens do to make sure voting systems stay fair in the future? We'll revisit this in our next review session. Until then, keep reflecting and take care.